So let me take you back about 9 years. That was when I was still a teenager, 17 years old, and my little brother was just a 10-year-old kid. Around that time, we went through something really tough. Our mom passed away. She had been sick for a really long time with this illness that just wouldn't get better, no matter what. It was a super sad time for us. Fast forward a bit, and my dad decided it was time to start a new chapter, so he got remarried within a year of my mom's passing. This was a huge change for us, but surprisingly, I found myself getting along with my new stepmom and stepbrother. We even had meals together, and it felt okay, you know? But then, things took a turn on my 18th birthday. My dad told me I had to pack up and leave the house. It felt like a bolt from the blue. Thankfully, my boyfriend was there for me and let me move in with him. College was up next for me, and let me tell you, it wasn't easy. I juggled classes and work almost full time just to make ends meet and pay for my education. It took me about 4 or 5 years, but I made it through. And guess what? I landed this amazing job as a manager right after graduation. The pay was beyond good. It was fantastic. So good, in fact, that I managed to pay off all my student loans and even started saving up some money. Through all of this, my brother has been my rock. He's pretty much all the family I've got left. Then, out of the blue, in July 2019, he drops a bombshell on me. Our dad was kicking him out, just like he did with me. My boyfriend and I didn't even hesitate. We invited him to move in with us. But we had a few ground rules: no trouble, help out with some chores around the house, and keep those grades up. My brother? He nailed it. He even got a job to help out with buying groceries. All this time, we basically had zero chats with our dad, but we kept in touch with our stepbrother. He's been a good friend through everything. Now, when my brother got ready to start college last summer, I made him a deal. I'd cover his college fees as long as he stuck to our rules. And you know what? He's been killing it straight A's and just doing awesome. Somehow, the news got back to my dad, stepmom, and stepbrother about me paying for his college. Here's where it gets a bit sticky. My stepbrother is also getting ready to go to college, but they're strapped for cash. It would mean taking on a ton of debt for them, which is tough. Out of nowhere, my stepmom gives me a call and straight up asks if I could pay for my stepbrother's college too. It was a lot to take in for sure. I straight up said nope when they asked me if I'd pay for my stepbrother's college. Don't get me wrong, I'm all in for helping out my real brother because, well, he's my blood and we've been through a lot together. But when it comes to my stepbrother, it's just not the same vibe for me, you know? Then, bam. 4 days ago, it was like my phone turned into a hotline for family drama. We're talking aunts, uncles, the whole circus cousins, grandparents, and so on, all hitting me up. They're accusing me of picking favorites like it's some kind of game. My head's been spinning because it feels like they've got me on speed dial and they're not hitting pause anytime soon. Every time I try to put my foot down and say no, it's like they're not hearing me. Makes me wonder if I've suddenly become the villain in their eyes. Oh, and just to fill you in on a little detail, my stepbrother's still living at home with dad and my stepmom. He hit the big one, 8 in November 2020. So, all these folks giving me grief, they're all on my dad's or stepmom's side. As for my mom's side of the family, well, there's nobody left. I reached out to them after I got kicked out, looking for some kind of lifeline, you know? But all I got back was radio silence. Now, all of a sudden, they're all about reaching out. Big shout out to everyone who's dropped comments and awards. Seriously, it's been a bright spot in this whole mess. But get this, a few hours after I spilled the beans online about the situation, I started doing some detective work because something didn't add up. How did they even find out I was covering my brother's college fees? It was supposed to be top secret, just between me, my boyfriend, my brother, and the bank guy. Here's where it gets juicy. Turns out, a friend of my stepmom who works in the college admin office decided to play gossip girl and told my stepmom about it. My jaw hit the floor. We're talking major privacy no-no. I was seeing red and now I'm chatting with my lawyer about suing her for blabbing. But wait, there's more. After I posted my story, I went back and reread all the messages from my extended family. And man, something about them just didn't sit right. It was like this nagging feeling in the back of my mind. Then it hit me, the way they were throwing accusations and blame around, making it seem like I was the one stirring the pot for not paying my stepbrother's way through college. It felt way off base and just added another layer of crazy to the whole situation. So I decided it was time to clear the air and get everyone on a Zoom call to talk things out. Here's the shocker. After my dad kicked me to the curb, he went around spinning this tale to everyone, making it seem like I just up and left because I felt like it. Like, as if I woke up one day, thought it'd be fun to bail, and then he plays the disappointed dad card. He did the same song and dance about my bro when he got the boot too. That right there is why none of them ever bothered to hit me up or check in. But here's the kicker. They had nearly a decade, 9 whole years to reach out, to say something, anything really, and they just chose silence. So I hit my limit. I decided it's time to cut them out of my life for good. I went full no contact mode, blocking them on my phone, social media, the whole 9 yards. I didn't want to hear from them again. Meanwhile, my dad, stepmom, and stepbrother kept blowing up my phone, trying to get me to listen, to change my mind. But after I found out they were spreading lies about me and my brother, I was done. I stopped answering their calls completely, and eventually blocked them too. My brother and I, we had a heart-to-heart and agreed it was best to just cut off all ties with them. It's kind of a bummer, especially about my stepbrother. We were pretty tight, almost like real buds. But when push came to shove, he sided with my dad and stepmom against me. It made me think maybe he was just in it for the cash. If he really cared, wouldn't he have stood up for me or at least stayed neutral? And then they had the nerve to try and make me feel guilty, saying if my stepbrother ends up not landing a decent job, it's somehow on me. But you know what? I'm not buying what they're selling. I had to hustle and figure my own stuff out without a bit of help from them. They didn't give a rat's about me back then, so why should I stress over them now? The plot twist? My brother, my boyfriend, and I are actually packing up and moving to a new city about 45 minutes away next week. It's like we're hitting the reset button, starting fresh away from all the noise and drama. It's about turning the page and looking forward to new adventures, you know? We've been plotting this move for what feels like forever, long before all this family drama started stirring up. So, this whole packing up and heading out thing isn't about dodging them or anything close to that. It's just something we've been itching to do for our own reasons. And get this, the folks we're leaving in the dust, they don't have a clue we're moving. And I'm not exactly jumping at the chance to update them on our plans. If they somehow catch wind of it down the line, I couldn't care less. In my book, they've pretty much vanished into thin air. Moving forward, it's just going to be me, my main squeeze, that's my boyfriend, by the way, and my bro, just us three, rolling as our own tight-knit crew. Now I notice some peeps were wondering about my boyfriend's family situation. So here's the scoop. He's got a pretty big family, but they're all living on the complete opposite side of the globe. Despite being together for a whole decade, I've only had the chance to hang out with them a couple of times. Yeah, it's pretty wild, right? And yo, I really gotta say, all the kind messages you all have been sending our way, they mean the world to us. Oh, and just to clear up any confusion, I'm not hanging my hat in the US, and there's literally no one left on my mom's side to call family. I did take a stab at setting the record straight with my extended family, tried to spill the real tea on what went down. But guess what? Out of the whole bunch, only like 2 people actually took my word for it. There's a tiny part of me that thinks maybe, just maybe, me and my stepbrother might find a way to mend fences down the road. But as of right this minute, my head's just not in that game. Right now, my brother and I are laser focused on cutting the cord with my dad for good. We're even getting all our ducks in a row with legal stuff, talking wills, emergency plans, the whole 9 yards. It's a bit of a process, but we've got our lawyer on the case, working to get everything sorted. Update 1. All right, so here's the latest scoop, and man, it's like something straight out of a daytime drama series. After the whole mess with the lawsuit, yep, we took that friend of my stepmom to court for spilling the beans on my paying for my bro's college. Things kinda took a turn for the surreal. We won, by the way, which felt like snagging a tiny victory in the middle of a hurricane of crazy. But just when I thought we could maybe start to chill and put all this family drama on ice, my brother drops this bombshell on me. Out of nowhere, our stepbrother hits him up with this super emotional apology. Turns out, the dude was feeling all kinds of wrong about how things went down. He was stuck between a rock and a hard place, trying to juggle loyalty to our dad and stepmom, and what he knew in his heart was messed up. So my brother, being the big-hearted guy he is, decides to meet up with him, and they have this long, deep chat. My brother comes back kind of shook, saying maybe we got our stepbrother all wrong, that maybe he was just another piece getting moved around in our parents' messed up game. Now I'm sitting there, kind of floored, thinking about giving our stepbrother a shot to set things right. We end up having this super awkward meetup, but as we start talking, I can see he's legit sorry. He even offers to chip in for our legal bills with some cash he got from a distant relative's will. It wasn't about the cash, though. It was the fact that he wanted to make things right that kind of started to thaw the ice a bit. Fast forward a bit, and things are like slowly getting less weird with our stepbrother. He's been coming around, actually pitching in and trying to be part of the fam in a real way. It's been a trip, trying to navigate all these new vibes, but it's also been kind of cool in a way I didn't expect. Then there's the whole circus with my dad and stepmom. After the lawsuit and our big move, they've started sending these letters full of sorry and let's talk. I haven't even thought about hitting them back yet. That's a whole other level of drama I'm not sure I'm ready for. But through all this, my boyfriend and the few fam members who got our backs have been solid as rocks. They're the real MVPs, sticking with us through every twist and turn. And my brother and I, we're tighter than ever, finding new stuff to do together, planning trips, and basically just soaking up the good times after riding out that storm. What's next for us is kind of up in the air. Healing, for sure. Forgiveness? Maybe down the line. But one thing's crystal clear. We're the ones writing our story now, choosing who's in it and who's just a footnote. This whole saga has shown us that family isn't just about who you're related to, it's about who's there for you when things get real. And sometimes, it's about giving people a second chance to show they can be part of your story. Story 2. Stepsis stole my car and wrecked it, but dad defended her. So I left, but now she wants to move with me. It's been a whopping 5 years since my dad and my stepsister even bothered to throw a word my way, all because of a whole mess that went down with my car getting wrecked. And now, out of nowhere, they're popping up again saying they need my help. Can you believe it? When my dad first broke the news that I was going to get a new sister, I was over the moon excited. I mean, the thought of having more family around sounded pretty sweet. You know how people always say having a big family is like the best thing ever? Well, I was ready to have that for myself. But oh boy, I had no clue what I was in for. So I'm Sarah Tony, just a regular girl trying to navigate through this thing called life. And suddenly, I find myself smack dab in the middle of what feels more like a nightmare than a family. My folks? Well, let's just say they were anything but the dream team. Even before they decided to call it quits and get a divorce, our home felt like it was the main stage for the world's loudest and most pointless arguments. They could start a full-blown shouting match over literally the smallest stuff. It got me thinking, did they ever really dig each other, or was it all just for show? Then, when they finally decided they'd had enough of each other and split up, they came up with this plan that I'd bounce back and forth between them. I'd spend the weekdays with my dad and then the weekends with my mom. My mom was kind of forced into agreeing with this setup since her job was always demanding her attention. Let me tell you, being an only kid and dealing with all that back and forth was the loneliest gig ever, especially right after they split. But just when I thought it couldn't get any weirder, my dad comes home one day and is like, "Guess what? You're getting a stepsister and her name's Dara. Oh, and her mom's moving in too." So, just like that, I've got a brand new stepsister who's 22 and a stepmom to boot. Suddenly, this was my new family. I was just hitting the teenage years, 13 to be exact, when my life took a major turn. Not too long after my parents decided they were done with each other and got a divorce, my dad made a quick move and got remarried. That's when my stepmom and her daughter, who we're going to call Dora for the story, barged into my life. It wasn't even a full 3 months after the divorce ink dried that they started calling my place home. Imagine a messed up version of Cinderella, minus the glass slippers and fairy godmother, and that's kind of what I was living. Except in this story, it felt like I was the ghost haunting the attic or something because my dad acted like I straight up didn't exist anymore. There they were, my dad, his new wife, and Dora, pretending to be the picture-perfect family, leaving me out like last year's Halloween candy. When Dora had a birthday, it was as if the whole world needed to stop and celebrate. My birthday? You'd have better luck remembering a dentist appointment from 2 years ago. My dad treated Dora like she was the president's daughter or something, driving her to school every single day, while I had to hop on the bus like it was no big deal. Dora was like this shining star in their eyes, the so-called perfect daughter, never setting a foot wrong. Me? I felt like I only popped into my dad's mind if there was something to complain about or criticize. It was like being more invisible than I ever thought possible, even more than those days when it was just me and him before all this. And let's not forget about Dora. To my dad and stepmom, I might as well have been a piece of furniture, but Dora? She noticed me all right, but not in any kind of good way. She was always on my case, nicking my stuff, making snide comments, and basically wanting anything and everything I had, no matter how small or meaningless it seemed. The only time I felt like someone actually saw me, like really saw me, was when I was with my mom. But even then, she was so caught up in her super demanding job that those moments were few and far between. This whole circus went on for about 3 years, just like that. I'm just your average teenager, trying to make my way through the jungle of high school and home life. But at home, it's like I've turned into a ghost. My dad? He's pretty much checked out when it comes to me, hardly noticing I'm around. And my stepmom? Well, she acts like I'm just another piece of furniture unless she's got a reason to complain. Then there's my stepsister, Dora. Let's just say she's not the loving sister type, more like the make your life miserable for fun type. Trust me, it wasn't exactly the dream family setup. But I kept my head down and powered through because that's what you do, right? Fast forward to me hitting 16. I've got this fire inside me to do something big, something for myself. So I land a job and start stashing away every bit of cash I can. I've got this dream of driving my own car, feeling that freedom of hitting the road on my terms. My mom sees me hustling and decides to pitch in. And before you know it, we've got enough saved to buy a car. It felt like a major win. I'm talking about taking care of the insurance, gas, the whole 9 yards, all on my dime. Because let's be honest, expecting dad to chip in for anything beyond the bare minimum was like waiting for snow in the Sahara. No sooner had I brought that shiny beacon of freedom home than Dora starts circling like a shark that smelled blood. She's all, let me borrow your car, day in and day out, despite having recently turned her own ride into a scrap metal project because she drives like a bat out of hell. I'm no fool. I've seen her track record, so my answer was a big fat no every single time. But Dora? She's got persistence in spades, whining and nagging at me nonstop. Still, I wasn't about to cave. Then one day, I come back from whatever after-school thing I had going on, and my car is AWOL. Vanished. Poof! Turns out Dora had gone behind my back, sweet-talked my dad into handing over the keys, and took my car out for a joyride without so much as a buy your leave. She rolls back home at 10 p.m., with my car looking like it's been through a demolition derby, and has the gall to act like it's NBD. Fuming, I storm over to my dad, ready for some justice, thinking he's got to see things my way this time. But nope, instead, I get a lecture about how I'm the bad guy for not sharing, for being selfish. And then, out of nowhere, my stepmom decides to join the fray. Yeah, the same stepmom who usually pretends I don't exist, unless it's to pin something on me. They're both on me about how I should have been more generous, more understanding. It was like Bizarro World, where up is down and right is wrong. Out of nowhere, it's like the whole house turned on me. Picture this. Dora, my stepsister, decides she's just going to take my car for a spin without even asking me. And wouldn't you know it, she ends up smashing it up. But here's the kicker. Somehow in some crazy upside-down world, I end up being the bad guy in this story. My dad starts laying into me, calling me selfish and mean. That stung more than anything else I dealt with in that house. It was the final straw, really. The next morning, I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I packed up all my stuff and hightailed it back to my mom's place. Now you'd think my dad might have shown a little bit of concern, right? Nope. He didn't seem to care one bit, even though he was getting all the updates about me from my mom. That was it, the last time I had any sort of contact with him or that part of the family. Fast forward 5 years, and I'm doing my thing in college, living my life. All that drama feels like it happened to someone else, in another life. But here's where it gets totally bizarre. Dora, of all people, starts blowing up my phone with calls. Yeah, the same Dora I haven't heard from in forever. At first I was like, nope, not dealing with this, and kept ignoring her, but she just wouldn't let up. So finally, out of sheer curiosity, I pick up. And what do I hear? She's moving to my city. And get this, she needs a place to stay. Apparently, she found out I was here because my dad, who's hardly bothered to check in on me all these years, mentioned I was at college in this city. I was floored. After all this time, not a word. And now she's reaching out because she needs something? It was a lot to take in. Dora, yeah, the stepsister who hasn't bothered with me for ages, suddenly decides she needs a favor. She calls me up, out of the blue, acting all sweet, expecting me to just open up my place for her, like we're the best of buddies or something. When I ask her how long she's planning to crash, she's all vague about it, saying she doesn't really have a plan, just that she needs somewhere to land for a bit. Oh, and here's the kicker. She straight up tells me she's not going to pitch in for rent. Her reasoning? Since I've been managing the rent fine on my own, she figures why should she bother chipping in? Can you believe that? The nerve of her thinking she could just move in, rent-free as if. I was blown away by how entitled she sounded. I mean, who does that? So I laid it out for her straight, told her there's no way I could let her stay under those conditions. And then I just hung up on her. Man, hanging up felt like hitting the winning shot in a game. Oh, and just so you know, the place I'm living in, it's a studio apartment, and here's the part I didn't mention before. My mom's the one who's been covering the rent for me. Update. Today is my birthday. Yeah, that one special day in the year that's supposed to be all about celebrating me. But guess who decides to pop up out of the blue after a ghost act of 5 years? My dad. And hold on to your hats because he didn't call to drop a belated sorry for all the silent treatment, to catch up on my life, or even to toss a simple happy birthday my way. I'm betting my bottom dollar he doesn't even have a clue that today's my day. So why did he call, you ask? Oh, he wanted to grill me about why I wasn't playing hotel for Dara, and why I might have sounded less than thrilled to chat with her on the phone. Initially, it felt like a punch to the gut, not gonna lie. But I didn't let it keep me down. I bounced back pretty quick and laid it out for him. How am I supposed to welcome someone into my space especially when they don't want to pitch in or take any responsibility. That really got his gears grinding. If we were in the same room, I swear you'd see steam shooting out of his ears, just like in those cartoons, exactly how it used to be 5 years back. He went off on me, slinging words like selfish and unloving, and accusing me of not having an ounce of respect or love for what he called a family. He even went as far as to say he'd disown me if I didn't let Dara move in. My response? Cool as a cucumber, I told him to do what he feels he needs to because, to be honest, I've never really felt like I had a father figure in my life anyway. That kind of knocked the wind out of his sails, and he was silent for a hot minute before just hanging up on me. It's always baffled me, you know? Why am I always painted as the villain in his story, while Dara, who isn't even his own flesh and blood, gets treated like she's royalty? So, with the drama out of the way, I decided to just kick back and make the best of the rest of my birthday. Ended up treating myself to an ice cream and movie marathon. But if I'm being totally honest, the whole ordeal kind of put a damper on my mood. Now I'm sitting here, wondering if maybe I went a little overboard. Should I have just played it cool and kept my mouth shut? What do you think? Did I overdo it with my reaction? The guy who's pretty much ignored me my whole life? Yeah, he's actually my biological dad. Mind blown. I'm 17, caught in the whirlwind of teenage chaos, and this revelation just added a whole new layer. Picture this. My mom's only 30, and my dad's hitting 40. They were practically kids themselves when they decided to tie the knot. Mom's the heart of our home, juggling part-time work with raising us, while dad's buried in code as a software developer. And then there's me, the eldest of four, somehow always cast as the outsider, the odd one out, like I've been wearing an invisible black sheep costume at every family gathering and birthday party I can remember. Growing up feeling sidelined in your own family is one thing, but finding out the man you thought couldn't possibly be your real dad actually is? That's a plot twist I never saw coming. It's like living in a soap opera, except there's no commercial breaks from this reality. I never experienced the joy of having a single birthday party. No shiny presents or friends coming over. Christmas? Forget about it. While my siblings were drowning in lavish gifts from our dad, uncles, and grandparents, bikes, fashion, gadgets, you name it, I was handed a pair of socks and told to watch them unwrap their treasures. Their birthdays? Extravagant affairs. Friends and family flocked to celebrate them, showering them with more gifts than they could handle. As for me, I was the invisible kid, banned from family trips and vacations. Instead, I was left in the care of strict grandparents who stifled my every move. And worst of all, sometimes they'd just pass me off to someone else, leaving me feeling like an unwanted burden. When I was just 13, my mom started a part-time job, and on those rare occasions when my dad and siblings were away, she'd ask if we could spend some quality time together, even if it was just for a simple ice cream outing. At home, I mostly kept to my room, focused on studying, but no matter how well I excelled in school or sports, my dad seemed uninterested. To make ends meet, I tutored and picked up part-time jobs at food courts and a grocery store, which kept me away from home. Over the years, my mental health took a toll from juggling academics, sports, and two part-time jobs. Thankfully, my mom helped me find a therapist who has been a tremendous support. However, a shocking incident occurred yesterday when I returned home late from work, utterly exhausted, and overheard a heated argument in the living room between my mom, dad, and aunt, all revolving around me. They noticed me eavesdropping from the doorway, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing, especially my aunt suggesting that I should be more grateful to my dad. My parents' faces turned ashen when my aunt dropped a bombshell. She called me a bastard, and I was taken aback by her audacity. Sure, she never liked me and often ignored my presence, but this was a whole new level of cruelty. I couldn't contain my anger, so I demanded she repeat what she had just said. My dad hastily intervened, but I was insistent. I needed to know why I should be grateful. I prodded further, wanting answers. Silence hung in the air, so I repeated my question. Grateful for what? For being ignored, neglected, and abandoned, while my pampered siblings played a picture-perfect family with dad? But as soon as I mentioned dad, my aunt exploded, yelling that I wasn't his son. I was stunned, and I turned to my dad, desperately seeking the truth. His gaze met mine, and all he managed to say was, "I'm sorry." I was left speechless, turning to my mom, hoping for some clarification. But she remained silent. Unable to stay in my room any longer, I left, and as I did, I heard my mom crying. She eventually came to check on me, finding me on the floor, shaken and crying myself. She helped me up, and stayed with me until I drifted into a fitful sleep. This morning I called in sick, still trying to process the shocking revelation that had shattered my world. Today I've barely left my room. Everything I've ever done to earn the approval of the man I once called Dad feels like a colossal waste of my life. I wish I had known the truth years ago. The top advice before reading the updates is truly shocking. I can't help but feel deep sorrow for you. This secret should never have been kept hidden from you. Understanding their cruel treatment would have been a small consolation. What's more, the fact that your mother allowed this deception is deeply troubling. The questions that arise are haunting. Why did they lie to you? It certainly doesn't sound like they were in North America. Sadly, in many parts of the world, an unwed pregnant woman faces harsh judgment and mistreatment. One can't help but wonder if your mother was pregnant and your stepdad agreed to marry her under certain conditions to provide some protection for her and her child. This is all speculation, of course, and we may never know the full truth. But I genuinely hope you can discuss all of this with your therapist and begin building a life that doesn't include these people who have treated you with such contempt. He truly deserves better. He never chose the circumstances into which he was born. The way they've mistreated you throughout your life is absolutely heartbreaking. I hope your mom will eventually be able to share more about what happened when you're ready to hear it. Saving up and moving away from your stepfather and the toxic family members should be your priority so you can start building a better life for yourself. Remember, your worth and your life are not determined by what these people have called you. I'm deeply sorry for all that you've gone through. Attending therapy sessions and prioritizing your well-being is crucial. Leaving that house and those toxic relatives behind is undoubtedly in your best interest. As for the first update, it's heartening to hear that you reached out to your best friend when you needed it most. Sharing your story with him and having him listen and support you was a significant step. It's evident that he cares deeply about you, and his anger at your family's treatment reflects that. His offer to talk to his parents about you staying at his place is a testament to the strength of your friendship and the support system you have in him. Please consider taking him up on that offer to create a safer and more nurturing environment for yourself. I said yes. He dropped me off, and we got out of the car. We talked for a bit, and before he left, he gave me a hug and just said, whenever I felt alone, that I should give him a call. When I entered the house, I ignored everyone. First, I would like to thank everyone for your comments, though I have not responded. I read through all of them. Not only have they been helpful towards to see things differently, but to do. The pastor stays strong until I move out. You're right. This man is not my dad's father, and I will no longer see him like that anymore. I will try and get some answers in why I'm being mistreated. Why after all these years, no one told me anything. I completely understand your need to discover the identity of your biological father, whether he is alive, and whether he's aware of your existence. These questions are undoubtedly crucial for your sense of self and understanding your past. Given your lack of contact with anyone on your mother's side of the family, this journey might involve a lot of research and potentially reaching out to sources who can help you uncover the truth. Your 18th birthday, at the end of the summer, marks a significant milestone for your journey toward independence and self-discovery. Now, for the second update, it seems like you've taken a bold step in addressing your stepfather. You referred to him by his first name, Kevin, instead of Dad. His confusion and silence in response reflect the gravity of your decision. It's evident that you've reached a breaking point, and you rightly questioned why you should call him Dad when he never treated you as such. This confrontation could be a turning point in your relationship with him, and it's essential for your healing and mental well-being to assert your feelings and boundaries. She had no answer, and she told me he was hurt by it. I wanted to scream. Which is then that yesterday I had an appointment with my therapist, and I cannot put into words how much she has helped me. Over 2 years later, my best friend called me to let me know that I could stay with them if I wanted. So this morning, when I woke up, my mom was already awake and making breakfast. I asked her if we could talk alone today, and it was important she agreed to talk after breakfast because Kevin had to go to work shortly after. After Kevin left, she told my siblings not enter the kitchen for a while. I'm paraphrasing a bit because it was a long conversation. Opening up this difficult conversation with my mom was incredibly challenging. As I struggled to find the right words, I finally expressed to her how I couldn't come to terms with the years of mistreatment and neglect by Kevin and his side of the family, all while she stood by and witnessed it happen. I emphasized that understanding why this had occurred was of utmost importance to me. Initially, my mom attempted to evade the question, offering the same vague responses she had given in the past. But I refused to back down, reiterating the significance of this revelation to me. Despite her continued attempts to dodge the issue, I remained resolute. I told her that I couldn't continue living like this. I made it clear that I was planning to pack my things and move out, and that we wouldn't be on speaking terms until she was ready to share the information I desperately needed to hear. Seeing my mom tear up during this conversation was heart-wrenching. Despite the hurt I felt in that moment, I struggled to keep my own emotions in check. I asked her once more for an explanation, and after some time when she had calmed down, she finally began to reveal what had transpired when she was 20 and in university. They shared an apartment along with this best friend. They were out clubbing when they had an argument because she wanted to stay, but her boyfriend wanted to go home, and it left. Both her and the best friend were really drunk, and she cheated on her boyfriend with his best friend in a club. The next day, she woke up and realized what she had done. After a few days, she courageously confessed to her affair with her best friend to her boyfriend. As a result, he ended their relationship. In addition to this, her boyfriend informed her parents about her infidelity, leading to their furious reaction, cutting off her financial support, and essentially disowning her. Left with no place to turn, she found herself in an incredibly tough situation, even losing many of her friends. With no other options, she was forced to live in her car for a period of time. It was during this trying time that she discovered she was pregnant. Not knowing what to do, she returned to the apartment she had shared with her ex-boyfriend and his best friend, only to find that they had moved out without a trace. Her attempts to contact them through calls and texts went unanswered. Eventually, she managed to secure a job at a coffee house where she met Kevin, a regular customer. As they got to know each other, Kevin asked her out. Even though she was upfront about her pregnancy, he was undeterred. However, Kevin's parents did not approve of their relationship, seeing her as both a pregnant woman and a cheater. They even threatened to sever ties with Kevin if he continued to see her. Kevin, fearful of losing his family's support, contemplated breaking up with my mom. But in a desperate plea, she begged him to stay and promised to be the ideal wife and bear his children. They made plans to get married soon after I was born. Kevin never showed any interest in me when I was born, but my mom lived with the hope that one day he would have her hearing all of that. I didn't know what to say for a while after thinking for a moment. I asked if she had at any point tried to contact my possible bio father. She said no, and a timeline would place her affair partner to most likely be my bio father, but you can't be 100% sure. I asked her if she ever tried to reconnect with her side of the family. She tried to contact them when she was about to get married, but her parents, siblings, aunts, and uncles didn't want to see her, so she gave up. I asked my mom why Kevin had been so hurt by me calling him by his first name. She revealed that Kevin had been seeing a therapist for the past 2 years due to ongoing struggles with depression and guilt. I was taken aback when she mentioned that it all began when I was just 15 years old. On that fateful day, I came home after a victorious handball game, where I had been awarded the title of Man of the Match. While my mom celebrated my achievement, Kevin couldn't resist the urge to undermine my joy by comparing my accomplishments to others in my room. I couldn't hold back my tears as I asked him, "Why do you hate me?" His silence left me devastated, and I retreated to my room, crying myself to sleep that night. Following that incident, he began to feel a profound sadness, as if something had pierced his heart, and that feeling never left him. Instead, it grew. My mom eventually encouraged him to seek help from a therapist. Reluctantly, he agreed, and over time, the therapist managed to penetrate the layers of guilt he had been carrying. For the past few years, Kevin had been living with the weight of that guilt, too fearful to confront it. So, when I called him by his first name, it became painfully evident to him that he had lost me, and that realization took a severe toll on his emotional well-being. The next question is, I was afraid to ask, but I asked if he ever abused her. She told me he has never mistreated her. She told me that Kevin has only ever loved her. The only time he ever questioned her about anything was when she was pregnant with my younger brother, and he asked for a paternity test, which she understood when it came back positive. He apologized and he did ask about my other siblings. The last question I asked her why I was left with people who harmed me physically, mentally, and emotionally while he went on trips and vacations. She was shocked to hear about the physical harm and asked me about it. I told my mom that I never said anything at a time because I was afraid of Kevin's family members when it happened. I mustered the courage to share everything I could remember with my mom, shedding light on some of the terrible things they had subjected me to. In my younger years, my grandparents would yell at me, and on occasion even resort to physical punishment. My aunt only spoke to me when she needed a favor, then promptly resumed ignoring my existence. At one point, when I was 14, my father took the family on a 2-day trip to Croatia and left me with his older brother. During this trip, he asked me to go to the store to buy some items. I agreed, of course. However, upon my return, he seized the bags, escorted me out of the house, and left me outside crying until the adults had finished their dinner. Only then did he allow me back in. My mom wept throughout the entire conversation, deeply apologetic for not only being aware of their dislike for me, but for realizing that it extended far beyond mere disapproval. As our lengthy conversation unfolded over several hours, I informed her of my intention to move out. When she inquired about my destination, I chose not to disclose it, as I didn't want Kevin to know where I'd be staying. Witnessing my mom cry repeatedly was incredibly painful, but it was a necessary step towards opening up and addressing the issues that had plagued our family for years. Following our discussion, I retreated to my room to collect my thoughts. Approximately an hour later, there was a knock at my door, and I gave permission to enter. To my surprise, it was Kevin who stepped inside. He asked if he could enter, and I said yes. It was the first time since I can remember he ever entered my bedroom. He looked around for a bit, looked at a shelf where I keep all of the awards and trophies from school sports. He was both surprised and sad when he saw the medals from when I did track and field and played football, then stopped when his heart a small man of the match award and picked it up. He held it for a while and started to tear up. He put it back and sat down on the bed. Neither of us had anything for a while. I asked if Mom had told him what we had talked about. He was still tearing up and quietly nodded his head. I asked him if he was aware how I see him. He nodded again and whispered, "Yes. So you know the extent and what your parents and siblings have put me through." He looked me in the eyes and asked if it was true. I said yes, and you just started falling, crying. After a while, he stood up and hugged me. This unexpected moment with Kevin marked the first time he had ever hugged me and openly shed tears in front of me. I embraced him back, my own tears flowing freely. In that vulnerable moment, he expressed heartfelt apologies for the 2 years of neglect, for treating me like an outsider, and he begged me not to move out when he finally let go. Kevin requested a chance to make amends, and I cautiously agreed, noting that forgiveness could potentially come with time if they proved their sincerity. However, I made it clear that I would never forgive his family for the pain they had inflicted upon me. I also mentioned that for the time being, he would remain Kevin, as the wounds ran deep. For now, I've decided to postpone my plans to move out, but I made it unequivocal that if things regressed to their previous state, I would not hesitate to leave, and he understood this. We've taken the step to see a family therapist together in hopes of addressing and healing the wounds that have plagued our family for so long. Regarding my biological father, I plan to reach out to him in the future, though my feelings about my maternal family remain uncertain. I also confided in my friend, sharing the recent developments. He reassured me that his door would always be open at his place. Our friendship dates back to our school days, and we both share a passion for the same sports team. And I was parents. Well, and they are lovely people. I know many of you want me to move out as soon as possible, but I told them I would like to give them this one chance, and that is what I will do for the moment. Honestly, I'm not scared that things will just go back to how things have been. I've been saving all of my money since I started working. To those who have been sending virtual hugs, here's a virtual hug back. And thank you. Thank you for all the comments and support. Now for the last update. Firstly, I would like to thank all of you who have messaged on the last post, and privately, I would like you to know that I am safe and I'm at my friend's house. It's truly heartwarming to hear that your friend and his family are willing to offer you a long-term place to stay. These recent revelations have not only opened my eyes, but have also allowed me to see my mom and Kevin for who they truly are. Individuals who don't love me and don't genuinely care about my well-being. Despite my efforts to address the abuse and neglect, asking my mom how she could leave me behind and not take any action, they persistently dodge the questions and prioritize my brother Bobby over acknowledging the need for change. What finally pushed me over the edge was receiving a message this morning, questioning how my mom could have failed to notice any signs of abuse when they picked me up after her travels and vacations. It became clear that there was no way someone who supposedly cared for me could have remained oblivious. So, this morning, I made the decision to leave. I packed up my belongings, which weren't much, and when I was ready, I reached out to my friend, asking him to pick me up when he could, and to call me when he arrived outside. When my friend called me and moved my things out, I let my mom know, and Kevin know that I will be moving out. They did not take it well and started to beg me to stay. I told him that I couldn't stay there because it was clear to me that they didn't care about me. Kevin got defensive and tried to say that this was my home, but I should not leave. I asked him why for these past 2 years when he was in therapy. He has remained the same. How come? Even though I tried my best, I was still treated like an outsider? He didn't say anything. I asked my mom why she let this go on for years without doing anything to stop it. Again, she didn't say anything. Saying goodbye to my sister was incredibly tough, as she's the only one in the family who has consistently treated me with genuine kindness and love. Our conversation was emotional, and when I told her I was leaving, She looked profoundly sad. Parting with her was even harder than I had anticipated. Once I got into my best friend's car, I couldn't hold back my tears. We took a drive before reaching his house, which helped me regain my composure as we settled into a guest room. My friend shared the story with his parents, who asked me to recount everything, and I did. After discussing it privately, they informed me that they would prefer I stayed with them long term rather than return to my family. I'm grateful for the support I've received from my friend and his amazing family. It's reassuring to know that I have people who genuinely care about my well being. I appreciate your kind words, and I agree that my family's actions were deeply hurtful. I'm focused on moving forward and building a better life for myself, and I'm now in a safe and supportive environment. As for my mom's family, it's something I'm considering as part of my journey towards self discovery and healing. It seems off that they have not forgiven her after all these years. She must have done something else. Please take care. A huge hug from a stranger. I'm so sorry, and still so happy about the update. I hope you find a safe space with your friend's family. Always remember, your friends can be a way better family than your own. And I think that right now you are building a new family. Loads of love. Stay safe and far from your family. They are trash, through and through. Never let them bully you into thinking you did anything wrong. Thank you. The only one I will be keeping in contact with is my sister. Last update yesterday morning with the suggestion of my friend's father. Taking a week off from school, work, and practice was a necessary step for my well-being, allowing me some time to process everything. Fortunately, I can access my school assignments online, so I won't fall behind. My friend took me to the police station to inform them of my stay with his family and to file a written report about the abuse, both as a precautionary measure and for documentation. Yesterday evening, my mom reached out to see if I would reconsider and return home. However, I made it clear that it wasn't an option, and I requested zero contact with Kevin for safety reasons. She became emotional and tried to persuade me to return through tears. Right now, I'm focusing on my mental health during my last semester, working towards the possibility of attending a good university when I feel ready. I plan to contact my mom to obtain information about my potential biological father and any contact details she may have for her side of the family. If that doesn't yield results, I'll explore DNA testing sites that have been recommended. Once again, I want to express my gratitude to all of you for your support and encouragement. Your words and actions gave me the strength to make this important decision. Big hugs to all of you. My mom had an affair, and she started seeing someone else behind our backs, kind of like having a secret boyfriend. Now the twist is, my older and younger sisters knew about this the whole time, but didn't tell a soul, especially not my dad or me. You might wonder why they kept it a secret. Well, it turns out, the guy my mom was seeing was bribing them with all sorts of awesome gifts to keep their mouths shut. Eventually, the truth came out, and my dad was heartbroken and felt utterly betrayed by my sisters for hiding the truth and accepting gifts to keep quiet. He was so hurt that he decided he couldn't see them the same way anymore. I felt exactly the same way. I was so let down by what my sisters did that I just couldn't deal with them anymore. So, they ended up leaving with my mom to live with this guy. But then, things went from bad to worse. This guy turned out to be a real creep, making my sisters feel really uncomfortable and scared with his actions. He was touching her all the time. This just added a whole new layer of mess to the already complicated situation. So when everything came out in the open about what was happening, neither my dad nor I were too concerned, even when my mom, who I call birth giver, called us up to spill the beans. She and my sisters wanted to make things right and come back home, but my dad was having none of it. He told them straight up to figure out something else, because coming back was not an option. After that, things didn't go so well for my mom. She started drinking a lot and jumping from one boyfriend to another. And honestly, A lot of those guys were even worse than she was. Meanwhile, my dad ended up marrying this amazing woman who really stepped up and became like a second mom to me. She also had a daughter, who I've come to treat just like my real sister. But then, about a year ago, my dad passed away. It was peaceful in his sleep, but it hit me really hard. At that time, we were staying in his home country, so when it came to his funeral, it was a pretty small deal. My dad had made it clear long before he passed that he didn't want my mom or my sisters anywhere near his funeral, and he definitely didn't want them to know where he was laid to rest. Months after my dad passed, my sisters found out about it. They weren't happy, to say the least. I got a bunch of angry voicemails from them, blasting me for not letting them know about our dad's death. When it came to his will, my dad had left them each just $1, which is something the law here requires if you want to make sure your will holds up in court. The rest of his stuff, his assets, were split between my stepmom, my stepsister, and me. Right now, I'm still living with my stepmom and stepsister, but I'm planning to move out to my own place soon. Now, there's a new twist. My biological mom, who I've been calling birth giver, is really sick. My estranged sisters have been trying to get in touch with me, telling me I should come see her because she keeps asking for me. They're also saying they miss me and want us to be a family again. But after everything that's happened, I've blocked them. However, they keep finding new ways to reach out, using different phone numbers or creating new social media accounts to message me. It's gotten to the point where I'm considering going to the police because it feels like harassment. But in my country, there is no such thing as a restraining order. I answered their phone call one day and let them have it, saying I have no relation to them and that my stepmom and stepsister are my family. We were on FaceTime, and my younger sister started crying, asking, "How long am I going to hate them?" I told them I don't hate them. I simply don't care about them at all. My older sister was quiet and said she understand. She told me she was getting married soon and hope I could be walking her down the aisle. But since I will never want anything to do with them, she will take care of younger sister and birth giver. I told her, "That's your job," and she ended the call. Younger sister sent me a text saying she will keep hoping I will change my mind one day, but I decided to just kill any hope in her by saying stepsister is the only sister I have. Then shared a picture of a Christmas photo of my dad, mom, stepsister, and me in matching sweatshirts, telling my younger sister that stepmom and stepsister is my family, so please stop reaching out to me. Birth giver called me to yell at me, saying that I didn't need to be cruel to my younger sister, but I told her that I wasn't being cruel. I was just stating they aren't. My family birth giver told me to leave my life, and they will lead their lives also to not come to her funeral, to which I said she has nothing to worry about, that I know I am an asshole, but truth to be told, I don't really care if that's what it takes to not talk to my sisters. I have a good job. My stepmom and stepsis never makes me feel like I am not part of their lives after dad is gone. My friends from childhood told me recently that younger sister opened some paid platform like OnlyFans. But honestly, I don't want to know, nor do I care to know what's going on in their life. I'm just hoping that this time they actually follow through to never reach out to me. Update 1. You people. I'm not asking for advice, nor this is an aid to. I just accept that while I am an asshole here, I don't really give a shit about it. My family and friends agrees with me. What I have done is correct. Anyways, for the morons who was assuming a lot of baseless shit. Also, I don't acknowledge her as my mother, so I just use the word birth giver as a neutral term. Remove the stick lodged in your assholes over my preference to call her that here. Dad divorced birth giver when I was 21, younger sister was 18. They didn't tell dad because they wanted the money and gifts from AP, who was buying them things my dad couldn't. We were a lower middle class family, so even things like going out for dinner was a once a while treat. As far I knew, birth giver was cheating on my dad for 2 years, but honestly, I don't give a damn anymore. My dad was a great guy, but once he cut someone out, that person is out of his life permanently. Something I admire about him and followed in his principle. He didn't let the divorce drag him down. He worked harder than ever. Always made sure he was there for me. He was a family man and he loved birth giver. And my sister is still the betrayal, something she has always failed to see because sisters and her only saw him as an ATM. Whatever happened to my sisters is on them. I have zero sympathy. Could give zero fucks about you people who are saying I should be sympathetic to their plight. They still defended birth giver after what happened to them, even after she turned a blind eye to what he was doing to them. If family betrays you, they are not family, and you should not care. Whatever happens to them after. Yes, I still live with my stepmother and stepsister. Still, stepmom is still grieving dad's passing, and my stepsister is graduating college and wants me to stay with them till she's able to find a job. So, till I settle some ongoing matters, I am staying with them. The morons who are making disgusting jokes about two of them can go fuck themselves. My life is going to be good, and I will have no regrets if birthgiver and sister never talk to me till the day we die. I won't be going to their funerals, and hopefully they have the common sense not to come to mine. Birthgiver and older sister has acknowledged we are no longer family and will not try to reach out to me. Younger sister is slowly accepting the fact I want nothing to do with her. I made a family appreciation post the other day on my Facebook and Instagram with the caption, "Love my mother and sister," with a picture of mom and stepsister while we were out. Somehow there must be a dummy account for my sisters, which they used to follow me. Because my friend screenshotted, my younger sisters did something similar. Picture with birth, gave her an older sister with some caption about being not needing any man in their lives because their bond is strong or some other shit. Anyways, to cap it up to you people and morons on the comment thread, story 2, same OP. I have posted about them a few times in Reddit to explain why we are no longer in contact, but the short version was about more than a decade ago. My mother cheated on my dad and my two sisters knew about it. They kept their silence because the AP partner and mom bought their silence. My dad and I found out he divorced my mother and disowned my sisters. I disowned then as well. We never talked much since then, and I have moved on with my life. Dad remarried to my stepmom, and I have a stepsister as well. He passed away in 2022. I am more family with my stepmom and sister than my actual biological family. Anyways, coming to the story, my younger sister Mia started doing OnlyFans during COVID. I only knew this because the former friends I had would make jokes to me about it and tried to share her picture with me, which was disgusting. I didn't care. Mia did OnlyFans as we didn't talk. And the only weird thing I heard about it was Jen. My estranged mother was fully supportive of her OnlyFans career and was arguing with people who knew that Mia is being comfortable with her sexuality and is making good money. This wasn't my circus to care. So as time progressed, Mia apparently started doing content with other people, and Sophia sort of became her manager of sorts, which was fucked up. Recently, my cousin from Sophia's side told me Mia checked herself into rehab because she started to spiral out to heavy alcohol and drug use. Sophia wanted Mia to stop doing OnlyFans because her mental condition is not good. But Mia rebelled and cut Sophia off from her earnings and decided to let some other person be her manager. There is a whole lot of fiasco going on between them. Emily. My older sister reached out to me in a rare moment asking if I am willing to talk to Mia into stopping from doing OnlyFans. I said no and blocked the number she used. The whole mess they did is on them. Honestly, I don't recognize them anymore. With the amount of cosmetic surgeries they have done, especially with Mia, although I know Sophia had a part influencing that too. Something I said to my cousin about Sophia failing as a mother again was inadvertently passed back to her, and that resulted in Mia sending a text telling me to mind my own business that whatever Sophia and her are going through doesn't concern me as I have clearly abandoned them. I just replied that I really don't care about what happened and tell her to just get the help she needs before blocking her too. I only see Mia spiraling down this rabbit hole further, but she decided to drop out from being an engineer to pursue OnlyFans, which was dumb in my opinion. Hopefully I am wrong for Mia's sake, but in the end I blame Sophia still for this story 3. This is a post from the OP in the first story, but this time it is focusing on his relationship with his older sister and her fiancé and their upcoming wedding context. I cut off my bio mother, Sophia 58F, my older sister Emily, 33F, and my younger sister Mia Tate F about 11 years ago. Sophia was having an affair for 3 years and Emily and Sophia knew about it. Sophia's AP partner bought Sophia and Emily's silence. My dad found out eventually. Divorced, Sophia, disowned Sophia and Emily. I cut my relationship with Sophia, Emily, and Mia since. And aside from some BS document I signed about Sophia's inheritance, which stated I would not contest her will against my sisters after her death. We never had any contact since my dad met and remarried to a great woman, Linda. 2 years after the divorce, Linda has a daughter, Nat, who I see as my sister. My dad passed away last year. Fast forward to the recent events. I got a FB message from Emily's fiancé Jake introducing himself. I decided to say hi just to see what he wants, and we had a decent chat, then disclosed that Emily told him about me and why I cut them off. It piqued his interest and that he wanted to know me a bit. I told him that I don't think that there is anything much we have in common to know about each other, but he was into cars like myself, and we talked a bit about our current project, cars. Then surprised me then by asking if I would like to come to the wedding. I politely told him no, as I don't think I am interested in that, given I have nothing to do with all of them. He told me he understands, and to let him know if I change my mind, which I said I don't think I will, but we can be Facebook friends as long there is no talks about Emily, Mia, or Sophia. We talked a bit here and there, but there wasn't much conversation as of late. A couple days back, I got an angry message in Facebook from some account. It was Emily. She created a secondary account to blast me about ruining her relationship. There was some heated insults which really enraged me, especially about Nat. I wanted to reply, but since I didn't want to engage in drama, I didn't reply to her and simply blocked that account too. I did, however, message Jake and asked him what is going on. Jake informed me that he has called off the wedding with Emily after Emily blew up against him for talking to me. He also says for now he is taking a break to assess whether he wants to be in this relationship. I said that I don't appreciate being blamed for this, and he was confused. So I showed him the screenshot of the FB messages from Emily, which I think perhaps was not a good idea. Hours later, I got a call from Mia from some other number too, where she pissed me off as well by blaming me for ruining Jake's and Emily's relationship. I lost my shit and asked her WTF is she talking about? I have never talked to Jake much, and while we are Facebook friends, the only thing we talk once a while is about our cars. Mia told me I shouldn't have except being friends with Jake in the first place because he is Emily's fiancé. First, I told her she was being stupid. That's where I heard the second voice of Sophia yelling into the phone to shut up, and that I am still ruining their lives even after I have cut them off. I cut the call by that time when I heard Jen's voice, and this time it was a long S message from one of Mia's secondary Instagram account, calling me the worst brother ever. How she is glad that I am not her brother as well. There were plenty of other shit, but reading the entire thing just made decide to shut them up. I replied to her, but she blocked me, so I unblocked hers. Mia's and Sophia's number created a WhatsApp group and just unloaded all the shit I kept in myself for 11 years, calling them names, telling them they don't deserve happiness, and they will never ever get it, no matter how well off they are now. I made sure to write in the middle of the morning because I wanted no replies. I told Emily that Jake deserves someone better than her, and I hope he dumps her permanently. I told Mia that her only fans, as fitting as she has always had no potential than to be promiscuous, but she can't be blamed fully because she learned it from the best person, which was Sophia. I finally told Sophia, even though she has stopped seeing me as her son now, just like I have stopped seeing her as my mother long time ago. I will always be a living reminder that her actions in the past will always prove she is a shitty person, and no matter how much of self-healing she does, she will come across me or hear about me. And knowing her own flesh and blood has thrived without her will always make her feel like a failure. I then blocked them when I saw the delivered in red sign and someone typing deleted, the group went back to normal. Jake messaged me yesterday telling me I have apparently caused some ruckus, cause Mia reached out to him asking him to forgive Emily, showing the message I sent in the group, hoping to get some sympathy. But Jake apparently told her he is not getting involved and his only issue is with Emily. Sophia, after reading my message, apparently threw away all my childhood photos that she kept. Emily and Sophia got rid of anything that reminded them of me and asked Mia to do the same. Mia was a bit more reluctant because she felt that it was unnecessary to delete the childhood photos of us as kids. But Sophia apparently had a total breakdown and told her it's either her or me. Mia followed suit when Emily told her I was never coming back to their lives and it's best for them to accept that I am dead to them as well. I found it a bit too dramatic to know about this more, but it felt great to let out what I think of them instead of just building an icy wall to block them out. Jake told me he will probably stop contact for a while till he thinks about his decision, which I told him to take all the time he needs, and he should do what is right for him. My issues with them has nothing to do with him. I woke up today to breakfast that Linda made, letting that mess with me. Linda just laughing about something. I realized that I am still loved by these two people, and they are my real family. Update. A lot have happened this week. I am not happy because I don't know why. Some Reddit content creators thought it would have been okay to post my story on their pages without even messaging me here to ask for permission. The worst part is some of them have embellished my post, which I don't appreciate. I only knew this after Jake messaged me to ask if I posted about what happened on Reddit. I said yes, but my Reddit is not linked to any of my real-life accounts to protect my privacy, so I definitely didn't out into anyone. All the names I used are just fake names. That doesn't bear any resemblance to them. He showed me a few TikTok pages where my story was posted, and some of them were twisted by the AA, to make it seem worse. Jake told me Mia showed him the posts first, and they are more than pissed off I have posted on Reddit, which is something I am not concerned about. I am not on TikTok, and I don't plan to be on it. But now I am beyond irate, because this is bringing more stupid drama to me. Mia asked Jake to please ask me to talk to her because she is hurting, because reading the post is affecting her mental health. I told her that while I am sorry that my post went viral on TikTok, I'm not at fault here. I didn't even realize my post will be on there. and none of these content creators messaged me here asking permission to post my story. He then told me, reading my post, realized how toxic Emily was, and he has started to fall out of love with her. Jake ended it with Emily last Thursday and has asked Emily to move out from his place by the end of this week. This, of course, has taken a huge toll on Emily, and she is saying to everyone close to her that I am a dead man. If she ever comes across me for ruining her relationship, which at this point pisses me off because I never intended my post to go viral in the first place. Anyways, I agreed to just talk to Mia because Jake told me he just want to process his breakup and he wants me to just deal with Mia since he doesn't want to be part of this. I told him fine and gave him an address of a cafe and time where I will meet Mia. That was yesterday. I went to the cafe and when Mia saw me, she just sat there and I asked her what she wants to talk about and if she wants me to apologize for my post. I am not doing that. She didn't say much and just looked tired like she has been crying a lot. She finally asked why I did this and the rising anger. I felt that this accusation made me want to just leave, but I told her I didn't do anything. My Reddit post is just something I wanted to share with internet strangers, and I didn't want my post to be used to get attention on social media. Mia accepted my statement and told while she understands that I am not purposely trying to hurt them, the things I posted hurt her a lot. And when she read my post here in Reddit, she felt sickened by how everyone is painting Emily and her as monsters. I told her a few people actually sympathized with her too, if she read the full post. But she just kept quiet and asked me to just leave them alone if I hate them so much. I told her that I didn't even want to talk to her, but she is the one who insists that she needs to talk to me, so she better get out what she wants to say so we don't waste each other's time. Mia just shouted back that if I don't want to talk to her, I shouldn't have agreed then, which I replied. This was regarding her mental health, and while I don't see her as a sister, as someone who also went through a few bouts of mental health issues, I can empathize how she is feeling now. Mia just nodded and told me to move on, and I told her I already did. I have said what I wanted to say and have put them in my past. Our life is better off without having each other in our lives, and I hope she finds happiness in her life moving forward. Mia then said something which took me aback. She told me she has been having suicidal thoughts over the years apart from me knowing I hate her and don't want anything to do with her made her feel like she doesn't want to live. But she healed, with the support from Sophia and Emily. Slowly, she started to let me go till this thing recently happened. I told her she needs a therapist to help her. Sophia and Emily is not enough. Mia agreed on this and told me she needs to stop loving me because her love for me hurts her. And while Sophia and Emily has closed their hearts to me and moved on, she's having a hard time doing so. She needs to hate me and despise me to move on with her life. But she can't because she still sees me as her big brother to this day. I told her she'd just have to leave and never look back. We may be related by blood, but our bond has been broken a long time ago, and if she values her sanity, she should be at peace with that. Mia didn't say much and just told me she will. Dad's passing to a fresh wound on their hearts, but realizing he never wanted her in his life till the end, made Emily and her realize that the men in their lives are no more, and their bond is stronger now. I didn't say much and asked her to rely on her bond with Emily. She gave a chuckle at how my responses are just so dry and lack any affections. I told her I am hurting right at this moment, but she and I know there's no undoing the clock. I asked her if the sexual abuse from all of Sophia's past boyfriends were true, but she refused to answer. She just answered, I wanted my brother. I told her I can't be that for her, but I am sure Emily will find someone again and hopefully he will be a great guy who she can see as a brother one day. I told her to not disturb Jake anymore as he wants to heal. Mia was on the verge of crying and held my hand for a bit. I wanted to pull back but decided against it and she told me she is glad we had this talk. She's going to attempt to close her heart like Sophia and Emily did, and while it's tough, she needs for it to happen. I said, do as what she must, but please don't reach out to me anymore. I'm not going to be part of their lives, and this is just unhealthy for both of us. Mia agreed on this and told me, hopefully, I will at least come to her funeral one day if she goes first, which I found a tad manipulative. I didn't say much and just told her we should end our conversation here. Mia and I left shortly after that, but not before I saw Sophia waiting in the car outside, which made me tensed. She saw me and looked away and I did the same before walking to my car. Mia entered the car and I could see her slumping her head on Sophia's shoulder. I got into my car and just drove away. Honestly, Mia's words left me emotionally exhausted. I have stopped loving her as a sister, but her words just keeps ringing in my head till I had to get drunk last night just to sleep. I really wish her the best in her life, but this trauma dumping is just too much for me. Linda has been kind to me the whole day today and allowed me to just stay in bed. She told me to reach out to her if I need to talk. But honestly, I feel so emotionally drained by this ordeal that my apathy for people is just coming back, just like during the divorce. I just don't want to feel anything now.